Hello and welcome to Royale Without Cheese, our bi-weekly podcast in which we discuss both the classic and the unknown of art and popular cinema from the then and now. We are your hosts, me, Leonardo Miranda, Miguel Aido,
Hey.
oh yeah, and Tomás Ferreira.
Hello, hello.
Today we talk about local legends, but before any ados, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, or simply give us a like. Local Legends is a 2013 American comedy drama written and directed by Matt Farley. Blurring the line between reality and fiction, the film stars Farley as a fictionalized version of himself, a small-town musician and filmmaker navigating the absurdities of local fame. Though largely unknown outside cult cinephile circles, the film has since gained a reputation as a micro-budget curiosity and a testament to Farley's prolific DIY filmmaking with its deadpan humor and offbeat charm. That's all well and good, but what did Royale without cheese? Think of the oddball basketball antics and meandering name songs routines of Mr. Farley and company. Fellas, let's dive in, shall we?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I think you chose this one, right?
I chose this one, indeed.
Do you have any doubt of who chose this movie?
Had to be
I
me.
thought Lenny. And
It's
when I
called
started
a
watching
rhetorical question.
Yeah, all right. Of course. Like when I started watching this movie, I had completely forgot what movie we had chosen. So when I popped this up, I was I was watching it and I was like,
What the hell did he choose?
what the fuck am I watching? I was
It's
looking
not
around.
that crazy. I mean,
But the
I
film
thought I was
is,
being
in the
held
beginning, is
hostage.
challenging because it's like you just think, is this just a terrible film? But then you, okay, no, like it's a very much part of its, for me at least, very much part of its charm.
Like in the beginning, I was thinking, is this just a terrible film? Do I have the wrong film? Or maybe this is part of it. This is the style. And I kept on and on and on with this doubt kind of, okay, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But surely it must be like integrated. And then
are you
when he
serious?
very admittedly,
But
For
how
a
long
while
are
I
we
was,
talking? I'm talking like 5 minutes. That's
no, like 10
all right.
minutes, 10, 15 minutes,
That's
something
not
like
okay.
that.
Yeah, I think that's understandable.
That
10,
was
15
it
minutes,
for a while.
especially when then there's that
But
overhead shot
progressively,
of him in the bed.
imagine like a balance. Imagine like a balance of is it not? For it was tipped for a long while on that. No, it was tipped like for towards the it seems horrible, but I'm very inclined to say this is incorporated. This is very aware of itself, and then it certainly became like to that side. But yeah, I think once that was established,
Are we
I think
talking
it was
about
very
the
interesting.
same film?
We're talking about the same film. Yes, we are.
I mean, I thought it was like hilarious from the beginning. Like it's so obviously like I don't know. The
It's.
acting
I
is so
mean,
dumb. It's so
but the
like
thing is that
it's so bad that it's good. But I mean I thought that from the beginning. Like okay, this is like them being non-actors, kind of not acting.
Yeah, I don't think
Because
they're
like
trying to be good actors, especially
yeah,
like that girl in the beginning. Yeah.
no, no, no,
and to some extent I think
and because
they're
of
trying to
that,
be bad as well.
my inclination was always towards this is very aware of
I
itself,
mean, more
you
like
know.
if you go in blind and have no clue, and like it's just because I didn't even explain anything to you guys. I chose the film and that's
Ah,
it.
okay.
You have
I
no
went in blind and I
context.
forgot about it.
Yeah,
Like I,
yeah, exactly. You can kind of be like, is this? Because
The thing
if you
is,
don't know or if you're not quite in tune immediately, it can be a bit tricky at the beginning because especially like there's that very terribly lit shot of them talking in the street.
horribly
yeah,
lit.
Which, that's the most challenging moment, I think.
yeah, that
And
is the most.
the thing is, we trust, for
'Cause you don't
example,
know if it's gonna be like that from
Yeah,
the.
yeah, exactly.
yeah, and we trust, for example, I can admit the self-awareness coming in more early and you understanding that these are choices, but there are what's the internet is rich with amateur movie making just like this, with this type of acting, with this type of lighting, with this type of framing. This could be mistaken if it was just dropped dead on the internet with no
I don't know.
context. Has a bad movie. But the thing
I think
is,
it has enough sort of
at
knowledge of
least at the start of
directing
watching it,
and
at the start of
framing.
watching it,
But even then, it's self-assured enough to that you feel like okay, this is someone that knows how to frame and minimally that that is. And I mean, It's true.
I mean,
It's true
he knows
because
how to frame badly very intently. Yes, and that's the style. And I like it because of that,
but
because
that's
I
what
know
I
what he's
mean.
trying to do.
You have to know what you're doing to be able to look like this. To look sort of dumb and sort of amateurish. And I
Yes,
think
yes, I agree.
it's
That's what he's
a
trying
hard
to do.
line to navigate. I agree, but I think it's enough on the other side of it that you were fully aware of it.
I mean,
But
and
I
it's
will say that
because
I did search about him. I didn't know anything about the film itself, but I did research Matt Farley. And once I realized he was like doing like 1,000 songs a year or something, I realized, okay, this is gonna be like this sort of silly
That
comedy
was one of the
where.
tips that, yeah, yeah.
So, when I started watching, I was just kind of in that mood and I just went along with it. And I kind of, okay, these are all people doing a bit and kind of almost like a sketch. And yeah, that was my view of it.
exactly. But I think like one of the reasons that for me it's so easy to accept the aesthetic and to forgive even if you want to put it in those terms, it's because the film is so focused like on this idea of what it is to be an underground artist, to be an outsider artist, doing your best to, you know, share your art around. So the film is very focused thematically, like to a point where you understand, like this is someone who knows what they're doing. Like this is someone who
Of course,
every
yeah. And that
scene,
was one of the things
everything
that
has a
convinced me.
purpose. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so I think it's so smart as a film, precisely because it's not trying to visually wow you or to be more than what it is, because it's, I think it's that blur of fiction and reality, and the fact that the fiction is this very, very silly love story and very, it's just very funny, like the whole interaction with the Billy Joel thing in the beginning is just so obviously silly that it works really well. And then with all the details that he has and all the intelligent things that he says about being an artist and all the funny things he says about being an artist and wanting to share your art with others, I think the film is just so rich with ideas. And you watch and you're like, I know that feeling, or you're like, okay,
Yes,
this
of
is very
course. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
There's an aura of sort of knowing what you're doing and that you've been through these sort of environments that okay, he's a confident person in a sense that he knows what he's talking about. And especially because since this is also about this sort of guy preparing a comedy show, if you think he's funny, you're gonna give him much more credit immediately when you start watching it. So since that starts with the sort of stand-up jokes that he does that I thought were funny, even though there weren't a lot of people in the audience,
Yeah.
but I
You
thought
thought
the
they were
jokes,
funny? You
yeah, I
thought
thought
the jokes were funny?
they were like these very dry sort
Yeah,
of
Oh
exactly.
my
stupid
God,
jokes.
what the fuck? You
Man,
thought they were funny?
you did not get this guy at all.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
Yeah.
what I
no.
have to say.
Don't confuse me. I liked the film and I understood it. Don't confuse me. Like my moment of confusion were the first couple of like minutes, like 10 minutes, let's say. But then I understood the film and I rolled with it and I liked it.
Yeah, but I mean, he's
No
funny.
problem.
He's a funny guy.
But
He
the
does.
first stand-up moment, you thought the jokes were funny? I mean, they were funny to me in how lame they were.
Yeah, but that's
But that's
okay.
what it is
That's
Okay,
too. Yeah,
that's what I
exactly. They're
mean.
okay.
not
I mean,
peak
they're
of
not
comedy,
effectively
but like
funny.
just the fact that someone goes up there with a piano and does those jokes, like that's what's funny there, because it's so they're
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
they're very
Okay,
lame
okay,
jokes,
okay.
but
Just to be
that's what
sure,
makes them funny.
because I found them funny for
But
how
that's the joke.
unfunny they were.
Yeah, and then the
Yes,
musical moment at the end where he plays
The
this song.
Scarlett
That was
Johansson's
fun.
fart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
because
amazing.
And are you kidding?
because there are two realities there that we're discussing. There's with this particular film because he's a real life dude, but nevertheless, when we address them, I think we kind of need to separate the fictionalized version, who I think is a bit, we just described a moments ago, has the filmmaker, has the director, which is different from him, the character, who I see more as a naive guy. He shares a lot of traits of those artists, kind of up and coming, trying to start something, and all of us go through the same problems, and more than once we have gone through the same strains of thought and how can I get out there and distribute my kind of art and make it seen. But he also does a lot of bad decisions because of that naivety and happy-go-lucky attitude. So what I mean to say is that when we speak about funny about that first show, it's almost like two separate ideas of funny. And so that's why I was like making sure that what did you thought about funny about that first show? Because there's the funny of as
The
us the audience
situation
watching
is
this film.
funny.
Yeah,
The fact that
us,
he's
the
standing up
audience- no,
there.
Yeah.
no, us, the audience watching this film, which is like funny for being how lame it is, how unfunny it is, and then the audience in the movie, in the cafe, watching him, who I think it's funny that they find it legitimately funny. The laughter that I hear is a laughter of people that is surreal. Like it's not, the film is not being real. I mean, it's almost like the
But
character
there are
is
not.
I know
imagining
what you
this.
mean. Yeah.
But there are not many people
like the
laughing at that
audience.
scene.
Barely
That's
anyone
part of
laughs.
also.
There's this ambivalence thing that is very funny to me, where there's not
And
a lot
some
of people
people-
laughing, but when they do laugh, it feels like. Yes,
But a lot of times,
that's
like
real
if they
funny.
when they
You know,
laugh,
like
I think it's a laughter of recognition of how kind of, because like he makes a joke and then he apologizes. He says, "Sorry," and then somebody laughs when he says sorry. Because like
okay.
I think there's
But I thought
that's the relationship there.
I thought that more than I really felt that the laughing was more than once genuine. That people, what made me funny was like these people are really enjoying these jokes. That's what I was.
No, but
That's what I thought about that audience. That they were believing the jokes.
you have to rewatch
Not-
that scene because
Yeah, you have
not
to
many
rewatch.
people were
No,
laughing.
More than once, this guy is with people that really give him praise, and I really think it's almost like
In the
a
beginning,
world on its own. Huh?
in the beginning stand up.
In the beginning stand-up, but there were also other situations where people, in a really kind of unreal way, really kind of cheer him up and say how
Okay,
how good his
there
films are.
there are
etc.,
times where
and
he's
they laugh.
where he's genuinely funny. I mean, I wasn't even kidding when I thought some jokes were funny. I just thought that some people weren't finding them funny, but I thought they were funny. Just because people
Tell
weren't
me a joke
laughing
that was
doesn't
funny.
mean. I mean, I didn't
Kitchen
write them
counter.
down.
For example, there's one he says, "I went to the doctor once because I needed reading glasses, and then I went to the doctor and he did the test, and then he turned to my mom and said, 'Your son is stupid.'"
What's wrong with
Yeah,
that?
but I mean,
I'm like, okay,
you with that delivery, you're not
Yeah.
gonna make them work. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but you see
but
the
this was
film.
basically his delivery. It was like
No, but no.
he was
his
so
demeanor
deadpan,
is very
you know,
Nathan
you know.
Fielder, I think. I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah, he's
very
like a
much.
Nathan Fielder in the
Okay.
music scene,
Yeah, exactly.
and
But
that's kind of what
Nathan
makes it
Fielder is
interesting.
more funny to me in his deadpan than this guy, because this guy is playing up to amateur actor, which is sometimes difficult to be. It's funny for how unfunny it is, but it's not funny on how legitimately funny it is.
It's just gonna turn into debating what
snowball of
comedy
debate.
actually is. Again, just gonna be a classic case of trust.
I
What is
guess
funny?
so.
What is funny?
But hey, I like the film. I like the film for what it was trying to do.
But I think to me this is a front to back extremely funny film. So there was no like, oh, this is unfunny, or like, okay, not every joke lands perfectly. That's normal, but yeah, I thought it was a very funny film, very self-aware film, and just very.
I'm just establishing the difference. If I went to a comedy show and I saw a guy saying this joke, I'll be like, huh.
Yeah,
Right.
but you're ignoring the fact that this is a film. I mean, he chose
Exactly.
to
He
put
might,
characters
like,
not
as per-
laughing.
Most
As
likely
per
that's
the
a setup
difference.
moment. Like it's not even a real show. He might have only made it for the film. You don't know. Like I don't know what's the context of what we're seeing. Like the line between fiction and reality in this film is there all the time. You know, constantly
Yeah.
brought up.
It definitely
but,
felt
like,
part
I'm
of,
on your side.
of
Like
his
I understand what the
intention.
film is trying to do. I'm not even saying the opposite. Like I'm on your side. I get it. Tipo, I'm just distinguishing. When you said it was funny, I was just like, funny how? You know?
Funny how?
I was just
Funny how?
wondered.
Like a
I
clown?
just wonder if Mike went to a comedy show and saw this, would really, this is amazing comedy, top tier.
I probably would laugh. I will be honest, because it's so out there. It's so like,
Yeah, that's
how
true,
are you
yeah.
doing this? It's funny.
But again, part of it has to do with the fact that this is a film and you're watching
Exactly.
this guy, and it's a context of seeing this scene.
Of course, yeah.
And
no,
also
but in
knowing that the
context
people
of how
aren't
the scene is
laughing and
shot,
everything.
how the guy is acting, how he
Yeah,
delivers
it's a mix
It's
because
funny
it's
for how
a
lame
because
it
it's a
is.
piece of art. It's a film. It's all of these things put together that you pay attention to, and you're also aware of the fact that he built this scene knowing that he didn't want the people in the audience to be laughing. So that's also his intention, assuming that this is part of a moment where it's not actual reality, where he actually shot one of his stand-ups. So assuming that this is his intention, it's also part of the comedy that no one is laughing. And again, that makes it funny because it's all these elements put together. And I'm not even saying that the jokes aren't funny in itself, because I did think some, if not a lot, were funny. But also because of the fact that a lot of people weren't laughing. So it's a mix. Although, of course, I do recognize that this non-acting, amateur acting, sometimes, yeah, it does strike you. But
It's very interesting because what surprised me the most was how a lot of people were laughing.
What are you
Like,
talking about?
yeah,
yes.
So
that
strange
never
to me.
happens,
You're
man.
focusing on the very few people that maybe chuckled here and there at the
No. No.
ridiculousness.
But there was always this consistency. Like it was amazing to me how if I was there, I would not be laughing. And these people, though there was an
Have
overall
you ever been
silence,
to
so
a
to speak.
stand-up comedy show, by the way? Just to
I've
answer.
never been to a stand-up comedy show. I've never
Okay.
been. I don't think I've ever been to a live stand-up comedy show.
Because I
But
think part of thinking things are funnier is also being there. Like when you go to a movie theater, seeing a film, and automatically the experience is kind of exponentiated. When it's dramatic, it's more. When it's funny, it's more because there's a communal sense when you share it with
fair
other
enough.
people.
I even thought about that during the watching the film.
And
So
it's a bit the same when I think also with sitcom when you add the live studio audience thing too. So I think jokes probably are often more funnier live than when you see it at home in a couch. Um, but
have you been
regardless, I
to
mean,
stand-up comedy live show?
yeah, I went to
Oh,
see
you have,
John.
because you went to see Louis C.K. and John Cleese.
Okay, you can let me answer.
Sorry. This was me thinking aloud. Because suddenly my memory
Let him
kicked in.
speak.
Miguel Locke, so you go ahead.
But yeah, I mean it's. I think that's part of it as well of the experience. But regardless, even if you didn't think even if you weren't laughing hysterically at every joke, you might be having a smile on your face and thinking the whole thing is funny. So it's not everything is as simple as one joke you laugh and the next you don't. It's the whole experience.
We're really locking in. This is the fucking pre-credit scene, basically.
Yeah,
It's just a setup for the film.
Now we got that off our
We
chest.
got that out of the way.
The rest of the film, But yeah, like I love. Speaking of the style of the film, I really liked how to tell the story of like this aspiring, no, not even aspiring, and a long life going artist. Like I don't know what it is, like 15 years of his career were like dedicated to music and film. Kind of. That's what he presents. He puts everything in there, every freaking corny aesthetic element that you could think of amateur filmmaking that you start with in like high school. He's like the horrible fonts, Arial and like Comic Sans or whatever, and the horrible covers, which are basically photos of him and his friends in very nonchalant moments at home, just caught off guard, with the lighting all wrong. And even in the film itself, how it's edited, the lighting is super dark. Like the second setup in the film when he is outside with the girlfriend after the cafe, it's so dark. I'm like, Jesus, like this is dark as shit. And then he goes inside her house, and I was like, okay. So that was funny in itself, how the light changes from place to place, and I thought that was pretty neat because he's embracing all that stuff, and also the stupid ass transitions, which I kind of love that he was as bold to do that. That there's a moment where he's making this video clip with his friend Tom at his house, his friend's house, starts singing about goldfish. I love goldfish or something like that.
That's not how the song goes at all.
How is it? Is la 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 la
My
goldfish.
goldfish dead.
Yeah. You know it better.
Ino responded.
Yeah, and then there's this transition of this light thing going from one side of the screen to the other, like bling. There's just this little thing. I don't know if you know. There's this
Yeah, the
this kind of
stars.
a PowerPoint transition. It's awful, god awful, but he put it there.
I mean, but that's like a video clip inside the film, so it's not even.
Yes. No, that's the video. No, even if like it's all to do with the aesthetic,
Yeah,
an
of
aesthetic
course.
of
No,
like
but that
really
like
bad.
what I mean. Like in that one, it's especially intentional as a corny thing because it's a very stupid song. So it's obviously
Yes. Yeah.
doing a very stupid video.
Yeah. No. I'm not
Because
even.
I was just thinking, does the rest of the film have that type of transition? I don't remember.
No. It's
don't
more,
I
it's
don't even
more
remember
within the
that one.
nature of the video clip.
That one, it's early in the film, around 7 minutes in, I think. They're doing a little video.
And what did you think of the girl that's sort of always interested in him, but is always with the other Norm guy and the Billy Joel collection thing?
Yeah, that was the thing that surprised me the most when I first watched the film. Is like, because initially that's like the most easy to dismiss part of the film. 'Cause, it's more of a funny detail. But I was genuinely invested in that like plot line. It's so stupid.
Actually, it
I
was
really
too.
want to
I
see
want
it.
to know if they ended up
Yeah,
together or not.
when the producer, when his businessman side is like, "Come on, I want to see how it goes." I'm really now I've become invested. I was like, "Yeah, man, me too." And I thought it was very good. And it's that type of thing that the film has. These moments of self-awareness, but at the same time acknowledge like the possibility to connect emotionally with something that may be amateurish and not a typically well-made thing that we associate with a film or with a narrative, but somehow you're still able to actually be invested in it, even if it's like a almost ironic investment. It's like it's a very interesting mood to have in a film, and I was very fascinated with that.
Even the film when it ends, it returns to that self-awareness of, okay, this is just a film and very amateur, but I know you guys kind of want to see how this is playing out, so let's just see how this goes. And it's him with that new Genevieve girl, which he ends up
Finally,
really liking.
coffee and milk or something.
Coffee and milk.
Yeah, but that's the interesting part, is that he completely dismisses the sort of producer, marketer side that he'd always been preaching throughout the film, to just completely set himself onto this romantic storyline that he'd been creating, and completely disregarding the rest. So that was interesting.
And I think one of the aspects that makes it, we were speaking of how can we be invested in something so silly, in such a way that the investment itself almost seems ironic. I think part of it is he's not building a traditional, well-defined, classic way their relationship in its build-up. There is a build-up, but the thing is, within what it is as a comedy, the fact there is a repetition of this one girl coming back to him, despite how awkward she is around him, how awkward he is around him, that very determination requires interest on your part. Because how are these two still together? How are they finding new ways to be together? And there's always a new thing. He put out an ad on Craigslist for someone to keep scores on the little basketball game he does with his friend. She shows up. So the fact that somehow there's always a way for them to be together that is absurd makes you interested in the possibility, could they end up together? Even when she has done something as silly as crying her in his shower for 15 minutes, while he stays outside, so
Just when they're watching the movie as well, the comments she makes that it's just a bad movie, because then it's like again becomes a sort of self-aware thing where he's commenting on his other films which are intentionally also very bad and like intentionally silly, may have the appearance of a horror movie, but it's a comedy, and he's trying to explain that to her, and that just doesn't compute to her, which is just another thing that when he starts talking about, I've become very good at taking advice from people who don't know much about movies, but I have a lot of advice to give. It's like that's just a classic thing that kind of everyone has to deal. Everyone who makes anything like artistic, from movies to anything, have to deal with that a lot. Which is, it's nothing bad. It's fun. It's like you listen.
the uncle comes by and says, "Do you know about film
Yeah,
festivals?"
you know about festivals? You heard film
And then his
festivals.
narration, "That's stupid."
I've been rejected dozens of times.
Dozens of times. Yeah.
I think he even mentions, like, I don't know, I think it was in that book that he's offered, like, the first rule, never do
Yeah, the
narration,
rule. Yeah,
as he's narrating and doing
yeah,
this for this
exactly,
whole film. So obviously
exactly.
that.
And
Which is
and
then the
also
book
it's
that
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then it's that book that his businessman side is reading. He's like, no, character arcs. I've been learning a lot about things in this book. You should continue to do more of this. Enough with the songs. Enough with the promotion. Let's make a movie.
Yeah. Which it's always funny when the film actually speaks to, there's how at times it really speaks to the reality of this, of being an artist, especially in filmmaking, as we can connect more, or particularly Mike through the music side of things. He can also comment to that as well. But it's very interesting. He frames very well. Often filmmaking is about externalizing what is internal, and how do you give physical shape to feelings and questions and fears and insecurities and all those kind of emotional states. And here, for example, you have the figure of the businessman like part of what is to be an artist, which you need to be. You know, how do you put yourself out there? How do you show your material, your art, so to speak, and to speak. And because he has these, you know, he is an extrapolation. He can be us, everybody, but he can also be an exaggerated version of us all, of what is of what at its most extreme can be like a desperate artist, which can be someone that picks up his CDs and just puts it on little pieces of wood outside in like what would you call that? It's like almost a roundabout, just laying them there for the
By the
bystander
road.
to pick it up, you know, or going to stores to take out, you know, to put his CDs on empty spaces to see if the clerk doesn't see him. That's, you know, so, you know, and then the businessman side of him, you know, you have that moment at the table, you know, comically filled up, you know, the room piled up with CDs and him telling him ideas like, you should put your phone number on the songs and on the movie so people can see and could actually talk to you. So that is incredibly funny, and one of the moments where he actually makes you think, okay, this is very self-aware of itself. But it speaks to the reality of we have all gone through the idea, how can I make my movie music scene? And we had that thought, how, what website, what place, what venue, you know, and he kind of taps into that with the most silly way possible of like, fucking heck, I'm tired. Phone number on the screen, phone number on the song, you know. And then he becomes so self-aware that this movie itself, you know what? Sing your songs in the movie. You can make a little cash, you know, put it on iTunes, you know. So, and the songs themselves are not just art, they are a vehicle for distribution. You know, he just Google searches or whatever he does, the most keywords, you know, search keywords for, I don't know, some theme of the month or of the week. And you know what? Gluten. Make a song about gluten. That's up on the charts. So, you know,
Even his
that,
whole way of presenting his sort of model is very sort of Nathan Fielder, like, oh, I've realized I've only done this amount of money with this song, but I made the math, and if I release
42.
40,000
Yeah.
songs,
yeah,
I can make a living. Like, even that is sort of this preposterous business model and way of a mindset of going about making music that is very absurdist and you know, helps with the comedy of it all. But yeah, the putting the phone number up, I thought it was so funny
It's great.
because
yeah,
then he
yeah.
incorporates it into the actual story, starts receiving phone calls, and then you listen to the songs that he did, like for those friends, Anna, Anna
Yeah.
something. She plays the
Samantha.
violin. We go to the movie.
Reese, Riz,
It literally
Riz.
only the songs are literally sort of the information that you receive from the people. Like that you go to the cinema on weekends. She plays the violin. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
zero
yeah, yeah.
effort put into it, but it's funny.
Yeah, 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 it's true, it's true. Yeah, and it's, you know, what makes it extra funny is that, and that speaks to reality. You have the business side of things, but you also have the artist that in trying to produce his work, you need that happy-go-lucky, determined spirit to go against the harsh reality that you always have obstacles against you, you know, and people who reject you and say no. So, and he's like that character, that thing that we all are kind of dialed up to 11, you know, in what he accepts, you know, the gigs he accepts, in what he just you know accepts to do, you know, meeting up Milhouse, clearly this I don't know, like this shady producer himself who's trying to make a living out of his, you know, gig of getting places for musicians and other artists to play at, and then gets his mom's basement. So, you know,
I don't
it
know if he's
just
shady. I
downgrades
think he's
further
just kind
and
of a
further.
loser.
Yeah, yeah.
I think everyone is movie. Like that's sort of the thing of the film. Everyone's kind of a loser, but everybody's in this, you know, they're local legends because, you know,
Local
it's a
legends,
very contained
very
place.
by the word,
Yeah,
local legends, exactly.
exactly.
Uh,
But yeah, the whole thing with Millhouse is funny. Like the development of it, first it's like an auditorium. It's gonna be a big place, and suddenly it's a smaller venue. But you know, and then eventually they just, oh, yeah, it's gonna be in in his mom's house,
and then
which
he
is like,
meets the other kind of comedians in a side room of the basement. He's
yeah,
not paying me
the
for this. He asked
greenhouse.
me like
Are
10
you gonna
bucks at
tell
the
me that you
entrance.
didn't think the other comedians' jokes weren't funny? I mean, come on. The
I
British
don't
guy
remember. I don't
was
remember. I don't
hilarious.
remember the end stand-up act actually that
Ah,
much. What were
no,
the
no, no.
jokes? If you remember, what were the jokes?
I mean, I have to like go back to the clip.
Okay, you remember more
Give
kind
me
of
a
the
sec.
reaction.
I remember
I
finding
think
them
I
very
think
funny.
The first
one
one
of
is
them
the
was
one
surprisingly
who's
funny.
wanting
Like,
kids, and that's very hard on our child. He's like, me and my girlfriend have been debating whether or not we want kids, and that's not been good for our
and
son.
it's built in this interesting episodical way where he goes about every facet of what are the given moments of trying to be an artist. I think he just gives you this carousel ride of the many facets of what it is to live that life, in all those episodes, from the music and the bad covers, trying to produce all that material. It's quite interesting. I'm trying to remember moments, but yeah, I think he pretty much touches upon everything, and all flows incredibly well.
Again, I mean, just to recap on that sort of other stand-up guys, the jokes. uh, Again, some are genuinely funny, and I was laughing. But again, rewatching the scene quickly, I noticed part of what makes it even funnier is that the fact that you're reminded that they're in the basement, because the sort of sound design of it all is sort of a very contained laughter track, so to speak, where you clearly sense that only like two or three people are laughing.
Yeah,
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 there's
yeah.
one guy
And
especially.
especially, yeah, one that you see audibly laughing and really finding everything funny. So
Yeah,
everything put together, that makes the
yeah,
whole thing
Yeah, yeah,
funnier because it's so lame, it's so
yeah.
bad,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
And
so
especially
sad.
because, in theory, it would be very easy for the people there, especially the stand-up guys, to be mad at Milhouse and to be mad at the situation, to be embarrassed and ashamed to perform. But they're not. They're very happy to just perform, even if it's just a few people. I think that also helps to the light feeling of the film and the mood of it, of this. You can be a loser, kind of a loser, depending on how you look at it, but at the same time there's a pride in just doing what you love regardless, and doing the like, what is success. I think that's also one of the questions of the film, like what it is to be successful. Is like making a movie itself is part of the success, or is it only a success if it's financially rewarding. And I think the conclusion is more that there's got to be something to just being an artist itself and making art, even if you got to do this other. He's got Matt Farley is very resourceful in how he makes his money, and I think that's one of the most impressive things in the film. Just like wiping an old man's butt, as he says, or making songs
Just
about
get
poop.
I'm living the dream. I'm
Living
living
the
the
dream,
dream. I sleep all day most of the time. Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of that, he does refer that what matters to him is making the films and being able to do it every once in a while from the money that he saves up, even if it turns out to be like something really simple and amateurish, even if his budgets had been increasing. But yeah, I agree. And even the title, as we mentioned, Local Legends, kind of underlies the fact that they're not really successful because they are legends in that place, yeah, locally. So even that underlines this idea of not exactly being losers, but only being able to be successful in a very contained area.
Yeah, when I say
And
losers, I mean as a compliment, more as an endearing term of what for other, like maybe from a Hollywood perspective, like, oh, you didn't make it in Hollywood. Like I think he even says, like, I don't want to be with those guys. I don't want to be around artists like that. He
Yeah,
also says that thing
yeah,
of the used car. Like, I don't need used cars. I can make a movie.
but I meant in the same way, in the way that they didn't broaden up and go, further. I think they are successful, but in their way and in doing this sort of thing in a contained manner. But yeah, that's it.
yeah. It's interesting because now that you speak of artists, and I don't want to be an artist. There's this dual battle between being an artist, but then him constantly saying, "I don't like artists either. I don't like artists." Like, so which is it? There's a film. There's this feeling of almost rejection of the snobbery while being a snob, almost. I think with the character, Um,
It's like a division between certain types of art, I guess. I think he doesn't really classify himself as an artist. I think that's the thing. He doesn't view himself as other artists or fine artists in a more sort of erudite way. I think for him,
I don't know. I don't know what the character really thinks of himself. I'm not even really sure what he thinks of himself. You could argue for that for sure, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure because there are moments there is an ambivalence. Like, does he? Because oftentimes he surrounds himself by people who praise him. It's not often that I see in this film someone actively criticizing it and actively saying this thing is utter shit or something. You
But
know,
that's not
even when
true.
the girl says,
Yeah, the
is
girl
there?
says it.
The girl says, but it's like soft.
The parents give
Even
him
then,
the give him a book on how to make a movie. The other cousin, it's like, oh, do you know film festivals?
ball stuff is softball. I want to
Softball
see the
stuff.
dirty business. You know,
Dirty
that's
business.
softball stuff. I want to
The
see
whole
the
thing
dirty. I
with
want to see the
he
people.
himself is mean to himself with the businessman side of himself, like telling him, "Oh, don't do your love songs. Don't do your nobody.
Okay,
I
okay.
got
He has
Mosehaven.
something going on there.
We
That's
have
true.
Mosehaven all over here. Nobody listens to Mosehaven. Let's more
That's true.
Scarlett
I'll give you
Johansson
that.
songs."
And
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
the
yeah.
point is that he knows he's doing something silly that it's not to be taken seriously, and most of the criticism that he
No, no.
has
Again,
has been
I'm
serious.
making a
There's that
distinction. I'm
stalker in
making a
the beginning.
distinction.
There's the stalker in the
I'm
beginning
making a
who's giving
distinction
him
between
advice.
Matt, the director, Matt, the character. I don't know if Matt, the character, is aware of how silly his films are.
I mean, he literally says it. What are you talking about?
He's
Oh, I don't remember
narrating
that part.
as himself as well, and there's not a distinction that you're making so like separate. I mean, it's both.
The scene, yeah, as well. But the scene with Genevieve where she's telling him, "Oh, this is not scary. Freaky Farley is not scary," and he's like, "I know. It's like it's supposed to
It's a
be a
comedy
comedy,
horror
even
or
though
something.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
we're using horror movie aesthetics. It's stupid. It's
I
supposed to be
thought there was a
stupid."
one-time example. I don't know if there was the same for every other of his movies.
Right, he
When
has
was
to mention
quiet,
it every
that's
time.
the
How
character.
often do you want
It's
him
for
to
him
what?
to tell me.
I just gave you a bunch of examples of scenes between him and other characters being critical, and you're like, but even then, I need more.
I was sold on his self-criticism when you mentioned the businessman and him. Forget the Mosehaven stuff. The other things, the exterior agents, the friends, the family, even giving him the book. Okay, yes, yeah, that's some criticism, but I don't see someone being really batshit horrible with him.
But
You
why
know,
do you need that? Why do you need someone being batshit horrible? That's not even the vibe of the film. Everybody, yes. I don't understand
no, no, no,
what that
no.
would bring.
It's just because by opposition, what I have is a lot of people saying how amazing
But
he
that's
is.
not true. I just told you that's not
Don't. I mean,
true.
I thought that more than once. I thought just because most of his
No, there's people
interactions are like
praising him,
people
of
going
course.
with
I'm
the
not
groove,
saying people don't praise him.
going
Of
with the
course they do.
vibe. His friend Genevieve is like, "Oh, amazing! You're doing that thing." Smiley, smiley, smiley. It was like a great, great, great stuff. So I thought the people were kind of almost surreal around him. Like they really like just liked his stuff, you know.
But
I
some
just
people
thought,
That's
like
why
him
he's a
too.
local legend, man.
He's a local legend. But even
yeah,
then,
okay, all
again,
right, fair enough, fair
what I
enough.
just mentioned, there's that stalker who waits for him outside his house, and he's like, I didn't like
Okay, that's
the
true. That's
storyline.
true.
And he's like, okay,
That's
thank you,
true.
man. You
That's
know, so
true.
I think you're being unfair,
Yeah, yeah.
and you should apologize to Matt Farley
I should
immediately.
apologize, Matt. I'm sorry. I'm
You
just
can
being
contact
too.
him on WhatsApp.
Yeah, give
Contact
him a
me.
call.
We can have a chat, or just right here. I'll say, I'm sorry. I'm
Or
just
write to
being
his P.O.
too
box.
precious.
He also gives the
What?
P.O.
Sorry?
box at the end of the film. The P.O. box,
PO box.
it's like a tipo uma caixa postal.
Post service.
Oh, right. I'm just being too precious. I'm just analyzing, over analyzing. You know, every little
No, it's
thread.
good to overanalyze so that I can give my take on it, and you can tell me maybe Leo is wrong, maybe I am wrong, maybe we're just looking at things from a different perspective. It's okay. It's all right.
And what did you think, Leo, of the acting overall?
The acting overall, it's what I was saying. Like, I think it's intentionally, or even,
Appropriate.
yeah, it's appropriate. When I say intentionally,
It's
it's not that I think that they think that, or that they're consciously being bad actors, or they're like, or that they could be better actors than what they are. It's just that this is what they can do, and so the film shapes itself around what they have, around the resources that they have, and so like you can't ask these people who are his friends and family even like to be, you know, Shakespearean. What's that word? Well, you know, like the great actors of
Thespians. Yeah,
thespians,
thespians.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, for the context of this film, this is the perfect acting. You know, it would be weird if
Oh, yeah,
it
for
felt
sure, for
supernatural, and if they were super, you know, like a Linklater film, it would be kind of jarring in the context, I think.
Also, one aspect that contributes to the style of the film and the acting is the very fact that in terms of the editing itself, you rarely basically don't have any J or L cuts, you know. Basically what you have is just cut, little bit of pause. He starts talking, etc. Cut, little pause, and then starts talking, and a little moment of silence. Cut, a little moment of silence, and it's almost like they're ready for the cue once the camera starts rolling, once the cut happens. And normally in films you would have the intersectioning of you're seeing someone, you're already seeing hearing the next line, or the opposite. So that's part of what makes it even more amateur, so to speak, or in the look.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, but to me, that's again, it's another element that brings forth the absurdist nature of the film and makes it, stand on a spotlight. It's okay, all of these things are happening, and the people are aware of it. The director, at least, is aware of it, of the acting, of the lighting.
I'm afraid that
of
when
the
you say
editing.
"but to me," it's implied that I'm not seeing the same. I'm seeing the same thing. I agree. Like I'm still
fine.
unclear what do you think. This is not like the
No,
same
because I
scenario.
wasn't even comparing to your standpoint.
okay,
I'm just
because I thought it
saying,
was
because I'm
movie.
speaking now, I just said to me, it wasn't like.
All right.
But yeah, I mean,
Sure, I get the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the acting is another piece of that puzzle because, again, otherwise it would be really jarring. But to see so many people, so many actors being so lousy and deliver lines, especially that stalker guy, that was like the worst, the worst one.
He's pretty bad.
Yes.
Like even his posture was like terrible, and just looking on the side, almost like looking at the crew. It was really funny. But again, funny because it's in this film, and it makes it stand out how everything is, from this very unique individual. So the film itself is too.
Yeah, and I have a question. How did you find this director, this film, Lenny? How was
How
the?
did I find?
Yeah.
I've known him for a while, for a few years, I think, because there's some people I follow on Letterboxd sometimes review his movies. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He's like a very, as he says, a backyard filmmaker making movies however he can. But then recently he released this film on YouTube for free. And I was like, oh, perfect time. Let me watch it. And I was just blown away. It's amazing. I really loved it. And then as I was watching, I was like, okay, this is a podcast film for sure. It's gonna lead to interesting discussions. And I think we all can see a bit of ourselves. It's like a mirror, this type of film, for us, because we can see a bit of ourselves in it. So it's always interesting, for nothing else, at least, like when he's talking about walking for miles and miles and miles. I love walking too. I was like, I relate to that.
I love walking too.
Listening to the Red Sox
It's
thing.
a common symptom.
Exactly.
You just walk for miles and miles. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how
What
I
was
found it.
the YouTube one you watched?
Hey, it's this one, Local Legends. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I watched his more popular film, which is Don't Let the River Beast Get You. It's very funny.
The one
very funny film.
The one he mentions, like the horror.
Yeah, the most recent film.
Campy one.
I thought it was a made up movie. I didn't even think it was a real life movie.
Everything is real.
Yeah, I think the only fictionalized part is like perhaps the romantic storylines and then this sort of bits.
Even the name songs are real.
Yeah, those are real.
For sure, all of those
100% are real.
Yeah, I have no doubt that he creates all that.
CDs
he makes money.
Name songs.
He genuinely makes money from this, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
It's part of how he makes money, I think.
Yeah, that part I had no doubt was true. I think the fictionalized was from the.
I thought this is bullshit, but it's funny.
But I mean, if you just search,
very skeptical. You're very skeptical.
How could you make music with names?
He shows you how. He shows you how.
Yeah, but I thought it was for the movie. I thought it was for the movie, not like in real life.
He said, "I'm a songwriting machine." A lot of the music that it's like pre-made.
I'm sure he's also a singer
that he's singing.
But I didn't think that these CDs with name songs, riz all the time,
I don't
existed.
know if, a lot of it is on Spotify. Like, it's not physical releases. A lot of it is just music online. But he does seem to have CDs that he gives out to people. I also don't doubt that. Especially probably the work that he's more proud of, like the Bob Dylan-esque songs,
Pink
that
Floyd
play in the background of the film. Yeah. A lot of the music.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
To be honest, in this day and age, it didn't surprise me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many artists just silly artists doing this sort of thing where it's completely crazy, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't you didn't really think, oh, okay, this guy must be faking out all of this. Especially when I searched him up and I noticed that he had a Spotify and that he had a lot of albums. I thought,
Yeah,
okay,
it's like
this
literally
is
the first
probably
line
all.
on Wikipedia. Yeah, that he has
So
released
yeah,
26,000 songs as of April 1st, 2025. 26,000 songs.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's like very resourceful, because
Yes,
you
yes,
write
that
happy
is true.
birthday song for like 1,000 names. That's 1,000 songs, even though it's the same song just with a different name. But that works. That's like genius. That's genius. I recommend this. At least don't let the River Beast get you. That one had a blast. Seems like a perfect, group film. A lot of people seem to
We
watch
should
it
have
like
made a double bill.
made a double bill at some point. But yeah, I like, just as a final note, like as the first time I was watching, I was very surprised when when he mentions Annie All as like a reference point, and it's like, oh, it's like it unlocked in me a different understanding of what I was watching. It's like, okay, I see where you're coming from a little better, because there's that moment where he says my raccoon has hepatitis. When I
Yes.
first I was like, oh, that's a good reference, and then later he literally references Annie All and says talks about that moment. So yeah, there's a self-awareness that goes beyond a lot it goes very far. It's an
and
interesting.
he's definitely a good writer. I mean, the structuring of the film and the dialogue. I mean, everything. It's engaging. It's funny. I don't think any of that is at random. And he even mentions Radio Days from Woody Allen.
Yeah,
The
that's
three
true,
films he
exactly.
Yes, it's
mentions.
true.
Yeah,
One is
Stardust
Radio
Memories,
Days.
Annie All, and Radio Days.
Yeah, he wants to do something Woody Allen-esque, and then that's when the businessman part said, no, you should do like a musical, like songs and shit.
Yeah, so like then the fiction part, the romance part, is like a remnant from that initial impulse of wanting to make a Woody Allen film, and then the other part is so I think the film, as Miguel was saying, like super is well written, maybe more in the fact that it's just so well structured, and the way we move from idea to idea, it seems loose, it seems like it's just going anywhere, but it's actually, usually there's always, you can pinpoint like where in the writing where he's going, like in the scene before he's already referencing where he's going to go next. It's really well
That's
made.
what ultimately elevates it from, being confused completely with just another amateur kind of film on YouTube.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
this type of style of filmmaking. Because those notions are there. So, yeah.
And that's all for today. If you'd like to reach out and suggest a film for the next episode, you can find us on the podcast official Instagram and website pages. Feel free to subscribe, share this episode, or simply give us a like. That's how our podcast can grow ever more groovy. And if you're on YouTube and want to see more videos like this, check out this next video right here. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. Bye bye.